You go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us live on this Friday afternoon. We are here live with Hall of Famer Wade Boggs. Say hello to your fans.
Hey, how we doing out there in Comic Land?
And we have Daniel Jacob Horine, owner and creator of Popfly Pop Shop. Say hello, Daniel.
Hello, folks.
I'm blessed to be a part of moderating this conversation of this collaboration art project. Daniel, can you go ahead and show it up as we talk about it right now?
You got it.
This is the newest Popfly, available on popflypopshop.com. If you are new to what this is and are a little bit unaware, Daniel makes these about once a week. It looks like a comic book cover. It's not a comic, but it's a comic book cover style art. And each week that he does it, he highlights an interesting baseball athlete, some former, some current day players, but they're only available 1 week, and then they are retired forever. You can look on eBay for some past projects, and some of them are fetching insane numbers. And so this week's issue, which closes down season 2, is Hall of Famer Wade Boggs. We have until Sunday night to purchase one on popflypopshop.com. Let me go through some of Wade Boggs' resume. That could take the whole half hour, so I have to cut off some things. We got a lifetime batting average of .328, 12-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove, 5-time batting champ. But what I love is 4 years in a row batting champ. That's crazy to me. 8-time Silver Slugger and World Series champ. And in 1986, this 7-year-old cried in his sleep on a pillow because the Red Sox came back and took out my Anaheim Angels. Mr. Wade Boggs, Hall of Famer, thank you again for collaborating and for spending some time with us today.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Now, I'm curious, Wade Boggs, lots of people have done posters and cards with you, and this style is a little bit more lighthearted. What gravitated you to say yes to this project? Do you have a background in comics at all? Like, what did 10-year-old Wade Boggs like?
Basically, in any vacant lot, hitting a wiffle ball or a tennis ball or something like that. Sure, I read Batman and Superman comics growing up when I was 7, 8 years old, and enjoyed them very much. But when Daniel approached me and said that, hey, I want to make you a comic book hero, and what better off than turn Chicken Man into to somebody that's kind of real, and in the dark of night, here comes Chicken Man. So it was a no-brainer. It really was. Anybody that can be put on a comic book cover and bring something that has been fictional, and then all of a sudden bring it to life, and that's what they've done with that's what Daniel's done with the Chicken Man.
Can you talk a minute about the persona of the Chicken Man? Like, where did that come from? Did you embrace it always?
Oh, sure. I was given that nickname by Jim Rice, former teammate on the Boston Red Sox, and in 1983. A friend of mine from Tampa, Florida said, hey, let's write a cookbook together and put all your chicken recipes from your wife, your mother, your grandmother, and put them in there, and we'll try to come up with a catchy phrase for the cookbook. And I said, what about foul tips? And he goes, that works. And so I ate chicken for the whole season, and so Jim Rice picked up on it and labeled me the Chicken Man, and so it stuck like glue, and then the myth of the Chicken Man just kept growing larger and larger, and everyone knows that one of the superstitions that I had was eating chicken before every game. So that was hence turning into the Chicken Man.
Now, Daniel, I'm curious because when you portrayed Andre Dawson, the Hawk, you really turned him into a hawk, and you took a different approach with the Chicken Man. Can you share your process for that?
Sure. I had a lot of thought that went into it. I had reached out to Wade quite a while ago, but just coming to fruition now, and a lot of that was just me thinking, like, how am I gonna share this story effectively? Because I think very instinctively, an artist might say, "Oh, Chicken Man, let's make him a chicken and be done with it," But that wasn't the story here. It was like the hawk was descriptive of a playing style. Chicken Man was it's about the backstory. It's more like Batman. It's more like the thing that's behind the hero in the front. And so that's exactly kind of the approach I took here. It's an element behind the hero here but not the he doesn't become the chicken. The chicken enhances
Enhances the superhero. Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Okay. Can you show the graphic up again, Daniel? And again, if you're new, these are available on popflypopshop.com until Sunday. There were 200 autograph copies, but those are long gone. So you slept on that. That's your fault. Sorry. You can still buy one, non-autograph, until Sunday. And then I'm sure as the pandemic closes, you can track down Mr. Boggs at a show somewhere and get him to autograph for you. As we continue the conversation, if you have a question you'd like to submit, get that in there, and we'll do our best to get to them. I'm curious, Mr. Wade Boggs, going back to the chicken. In the 2000s, there was like an incident with the Red Sox. They had kind of a collapse, and an accusation was, I think that was like Lackey and Lester were eating fried chicken. Did you get roped into that at all? Did your name?
No, thank goodness. No, I wasn't brought into that. There were a few more elements than the chicken, but yeah, I heard about that, and it was. I thought I was going to get roped into it, but the name never surfaced.
Awesome. Also, I have a question. You seem like you're embracing of this and the Chicken Man. You're a lighthearted guy. And I distinctly remember you in the Cheers episode in the 80s where you got pants. And then, of course, the Simpsons, which I'm wearing the Isotopes jersey right now, by the way.
Very nice. Very nice.
And then Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It seems like you took baseball serious, but not yourself. Can you speak on your thought process on that?
Well, I take myself very serious, and I enjoy Hollywood. That's when you get to a majority of the roles that I've had, I played myself, except for in Swamp Shark, where I played Deputy Stanley with Robert Davi and Christy Swanson, and it was that was out of character because the majority of my roles have been playing myself, which is basically very easy. But the Cheers episode and Always Sunny and they're anytime you can make somebody laugh and these episodes do every time they're on. But and I was on Psych as well, so if there's laughter out there, it heals the soul.
What gets brought up more? Is it the pants or the sideburns?
Actually, the sideburns were Don Mattingly.
That's right. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. See, everybody says thought they misconstrued the two characters together. No, I was punched out in a bar. That was
that's right. You got
so it was
with Barney. That's right.
Which I couldn't figure because Roger Clemens was clucking around like a chicken. That's where sort of Simpsons missed the boat on that. I thought I was the one that was going to be clucking around like a chicken.
That's good. That's good stuff. So obviously we're talking to Wade Boggs, Hall of Famer here. Also Daniel from Popfly Pop Shop. You can go to that website and get one of these beautiful art pieces.
Please do.
You need to order it by Sunday, and they are retired forever, and you're forced to pay ungodly amounts on eBay. Now, Mr. Boggs, I'm totally asking this question as a curious fan. Peek behind the curtain if you're comfortable. You're on the Red Sox for 10 years. You hit 328. On base 428. That is insane. That's Moneyball stuff before Moneyball was a word. You handled it in the postseason. In 1990, you hit 438 in the postseason. How did the Red Sox let you walk?
Well, it was actually in 1991 at the end of the season. Mrs. Yawkey, the owner of the Red Sox at the time, had come to me in the parking lot after the last game and had offered me a 7-year contract for around $38 million. And I told her to go get a napkin and I would sign it right now. And she said, no, don't worry, that we'll take care of it and we'll get it all done. And she says, I want you to be a Red Sox player for life, following the same footsteps as Carl Yastrzemski and Ted Williams. And I said, Mrs. Yockey, I would love nothing more. And the dream sort of came to a nightmarish end when she fell in a tub the first week in January of 1992 and died. And wow. Passed away. So when I got to spring training in 92, they had taken the offer off the table.
Wow.
And so now I was left in spring training to negotiate a new contract, or at the end of the season, become a free agent. And the Red Sox at that time had other plans for me. And so the negotiations didn't go very well in spring training, and wound up having one of my worst years in 92 with the Red Sox. And in the end, became a free agent. And I had an offer of really not importance, but from the Dodgers within 12 hours. And it wasn't what we were looking for. And lo and behold, the next day, Mr. Steinbrenner calls. And we had a meeting with the Yankees, and Joe Malloy at the time, Mr. Steinbrenner was suspended because of the Major League Baseball had suspended him for, I believe it was a Dave Winfield incident, but here nor there, negotiated the contract, a 3-year deal, go to New York. The money was really nice, but I was looking for a place to land my feet, and New York had offered me the best deal. And so it wasn't that I wanted to leave Boston. That was far from the truth. Had Mrs. Yockey had that napkin available, I would have signed that 7-year deal and finished my career in Boston, and loved every minute of it. And I love Boston, and eventually they retired my number, and we're back in the good graces, and I work for Boston now. So that is, that's the great part of it, that came full circle after I had left, but went to New York for 5 years, and eventually in 96 wound up winning a World Series. It took 10 years after the first one that I had lost in 86. But after 5 years, the Yankees didn't pick up an option, so I became a Tampa Bay Devil Ray for 2 years and finished my career here in Tampa.
Was there a tension for you on, obviously you need to look out for yourself and the legacy of your family, and yet were you like, am I actually going to the Yankees? Like, is there another offer that's close to comparable, or was that not part of your equation at all?
Wow, would you turn down the New York Yankees?
There's
you had another offer. Where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? The New York Yankees are okay. But no, it was. I think after that day, there was really no reason to beat the bushes and try to find a better deal. I thought it was a great deal. I get to stay in the American League East. I get to stay in the American League, number one. But the transition going from Boston to New York was kind of crazy, but is one of those things that you have to deal with.
Yeah, because I think some of the other, Clemens did that, but he stopped in the Blue Jays first. And obviously Babe Ruth is a ways ago. And so you're really the most prominent athlete who's done that. Did Johnny Damon reach out to you for advice when he did that?
No, he didn't. And
I would have.
It's to each their own. I mean, you're gonna find people that love you and people that hate you. So there's hopefully you just find the happy medium.
Well, again, we're talking with Wade Boggs, Hall of Famer, and Daniel from Pop Fly Pop Shop. Can you show the art again, Daniel? This is a comic book style cover. It's a cover. It is only available until Sunday on popflypopshop.com. The autographs are sold out, but you do want to grab one of these by Sunday before they are retired forever. Daniel, speaking of the hero aspect, you mentioned Batman, and I think Wade Boggs said something Dark Knight. My wife felt a connection in there with like the bat signal of the chicken in the background. Can you speak on that decision?
Sure. In talking about how we're going to approach this with Wade earlier, like, are we going to kind of go full on comic or full on just very classic baseball? And Wade had the great idea of let's do both. It's like, okay, and that was the challenge to me, and just to kind of figure out how do we have a classic hero here, but also bring the comic book element there. And so a part of my thought was like, okay, what are some superheroes that aren't actually the thing that they're named after? Like Hawkman is a hawk, and the Sandman is made of sand, but Batman is not made of bats. Chicken Man is not made of chicken. So kind of thinking about those characters that are made of something else that are enhanced. And so that was sort of the process that I went through and to try to do exactly what it is, a lighthearted, humorous, but also classic hero motif here.
Awesome. And again, those are popflypotshop.com, only available until Sunday. We're going to rapid fire a couple fan questions. We have Scott, who saw your 3,000th hit in Tampa Bay, and he wants to know, growing up, who was your favorite player and what team did you root for?
Well, growing up, I was it was kind of crazy because in the early 70s, I was an Oakland A fan. Growing up in Florida, but when I lived in Georgia, I was a huge Atlanta Braves fan, following Hank Aaron and Phil Niekro and all the early 60 Braves teams. But I really fell in love with Oakland, with Reggie and Sal Bando and Raleigh Fingers and Gene Tennis and all of them. And really, it was one of those. But the guy that I loved to death was Pete Rose. I patterned my game after Pete. You always hustle. Takes no ability to hustle. You sit there and bust your tail every day. And always been a Ted Williams fan. That's for sure. I've never saw Ted play, but many conversations with Ted and Reggie. I've always been a huge Reggie fan back in the Oakland days, and playing against Reggie once I got to the big leagues. And but playing against your two idols, Reggie and Pete, that's very special. But the guy once I got to the big leagues that I admired the most was George Brett.
Any modern day players that you sort of are a fan of or that you really respect?
Oh, I think Mike Trout does it the right way. No, it's not here. Look at me. He goes about the game, plays it hard, gives 100%, and he's going to post every day, and he's going to post with numbers, and that's the thing. And whoever said that he's the next coming of Mickey Mantle, not very far off.
Wow, that's big words there for my hometown guy. Bill asked a great question. I'm assuming as a home player, did you prefer Fenway or Old Yankee Stadium?
Well, coincidentally, I had the highest batting average in Fenway Park, 369. And there's a guy that's in second place who was at 367 by the name of Ted Williams. And so I think you can imagine where I love to hit, and that's Fenway Park. And my dad said when I was drafted in the 7th round by Boston that Fenway Park was built for me.
Wow.
And truer words were never spoken.
Wow. Well, that stat will never be broken. I can bet my house on that. Mr. Boggs, for your whole career, you only had 3 years not batting 300, and one of those you hit 292. Rarely struck out. You hit home runs, but you weren't a home run hitter. Does it drive you crazy seeing the modern day approach of, I don't care about striking out, I don't care about my average, I just want to hit as many bombs as I can or take my walks?
Oh, sure. It's disturbing. When you sit there and a guy's hitting 221 and somebody comes on and says, well, he's 3rd in the league at exit velocity. Really? He's 3rd in the league in exit velocity, but he's hitting 221. Boy, I can really clap to that. And, when you have more strikeouts than hits in a month for the whole Major League Baseball, I think that there is a problem. There is a problem. And you just try to figure out what that problem is, and it just stems by the fact that the two words, launch angle, right there. That's you got guys with high velocity that throw up in the zone and they can't get to the pitches. So if they don't strike out, they're going to pop up. So.
Yeah, hopefully we make adjustments because I think it's a more fun game when we get to the line drives, the base hits, the first to third. I love that stuff. And you retired your last year. You hit over 300. That doesn't happen. We don't see people retiring at 300 anymore. Is that something that you take pride in, or do you think back, man, I had another 8 years left. I could have DH'd or pinch hit for a while.
I don't know about 8 years left, but I probably had 3 or 4 left. That was the thing. But trying to find a job, and whether or not I made the transition over to first base or even DH, those were the bridges that I had to cross. But knowing that I had accomplished a majority of everything that I wanted to in baseball, it made that process of retiring a lot easier.
You had a good knuckleball too.
Absolutely. I could have come back as a knuckleball pitcher. That was one of the things. I was actually offered a minor league deal after I retired.
What?
To come back and pitch. And I really, really thought about it. And because knuckleball is really no strain on your arm or anything like that. And I do have 2 1/3 in big leagues with 2 strikeouts. So that is.
Do you remember who you struck out?
Todd Green and Louis Alicea.
I'm an Angels fan. I remember that Angel blowout game.
Actually, I pitched against the Angels and struck out Todd Green to end the inning and got a standing ovation that night. But you guys were killing us 16-2.
I distinctly remember that, though, Mr. Boggs, where Yankee fans or players are laughing, and you had this, like, I'm pitching in the 7th game of a World Series look on your face. You were intense.
No, you damn right I did. Yeah,
awesome.
I was very intense because I was out of my element. That was the big thing. I had never been on the mound, and the last thing that I got was Mel Stottlemyre telling me, "Hey, we've got a great ERA on this team right now, so don't screw it up." And so, yeah, God rest Mel. I loved him to death, and yeah, I went in there like Nolan Ryan, but threw a lot softer than Nolan Ryan.
Awesome. We are running up against the wall. Wade Boggs has been gracious with his time. Before we let him go, Daniel, are you available to stay a little bit longer?
Absolutely. Love to.
Awesome. Well, then, Mr. Boggs, we'll thank you for your time. And
I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you for the 200 autographs.
Great job and continued success.
Thank you so much.
It's been a hoot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
On your way out, Wade Boggs, can I close with this question? If you have like 30 more seconds.
You got it.
You are a very ritualistic batter. How did that help you? And how can you give us advice on what if I work at the grocery store and somebody's rude, they stress me out? What's a ritual that I can recenter myself with in a way that you did as a hitter?
Well, the thing is a lot of times you just have to put blinders on and just look forward and know that within the next 30 seconds to a minute, it's going to be a lot better rather than react to someone. You sort of grin and bear it and take it and say, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Have a great day.
Good words. Thank you, Hall of Famer Wade Boggs.
You guys take care. All right.
Thanks for your time. Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
That was incredible. Living legend right there. And some of the comments, you guys nailed it. One of the greatest hitters of our history of this amazing sport. Keep your questions coming in. Daniel's going to spend a little bit more time with us. Yeah. Daniel, how does it feel having him talk about your work, enjoy your work?
It's wild. The novelty of this never wears off. You know, we talked to Dale Murphy and Andre Dawson and Wade Boggs, and I'm still like. The cool thing about this is I'm always 10 years old. I don't age, and every time we get to talk and work with these players, it's wild and yeah, it's awesome.
Yes, it's fun watching people appreciate your art because we do as fans as well. So it's nice when the person of your art, resonates it in the way that we do. This is actually the last issue of season 2.
Mhm.
It's still available until Sunday, popflypopshot.com. Daniel, how long is the break until season 3?
Well, I don't know exactly. I think a little less organized than baseball is. You know when baseball is going to come back, but there was no break between 1 and 2. I figured we could take a little break between 2 and 3. The 1-year anniversary of Pop Fly is on June 12th, and I figure I'll be back by then, either on that date or just prior. But I plan to be still going at it at the 1-year mark.
And is there any players in your brain rumbling around for season 3 that you can tip?
And
Give us something. Come on.
No, I can't. There's plenty of ideas. There's plenty of ideas, and there's no shortage of those. But yeah, this is so inspiration led. Sometimes Evan, I'll talk to you on a Friday, and I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to go with this but by Sunday we'll land the plane. So just never know. This is definitely a ride for me. So not a lot planned, and the muse will tell me where to go.
You guys are already a step ahead of me. Feel free to throw out some names in the chats right now of people you would like to see. I echo the Griffey and Bo Jackson ones. Let's
so I have to do them. Just those guys are going to come at some point. When is the question?
Season 3 is the answer. Let's reflect a little bit on these past 2 seasons. On your very first one, you did Will Clark.
Mm-hmm.
You sold 11,
mm-hmm.
which I've never sold 11 of anything that I've made. So let's not minimize selling 11 of something. That's great. But you went from selling 11 of something into being on MLB Hot Stove, into having conversations with multiple Hall of Famers and other major league players. How has this adventure been for you from selling 11 of something to this?
It's exactly that, an adventure. And I think that's why I still get to be 10 years old, is that it's still new to me. And I've been doing art for my whole life. And it seems this has been a magical year where I go from selling 11 to hundreds, but I've been working in art for 20 years, and hoping to do something that resonates. And so while it seems like it's a magical overnight success, it's an 18-year, 20-year overnight success, and so I think that's why it's very meaningful to me. It's not like I one day picked up a pencil and started drawing and then everyone liked it. Not that long ago, Evan, you were with me at a convention. I was doing another project and just watching people walk by the booth for all weekend long, So I think that's why all this is very valuable and meaningful to me, is because it is there's been a lot that led up to it. There's a lot of history to this point, so I cherish it.
One of my friends asked me, how long has Daniel been preparing himself to do this? I told him 41 years, like his entire life he's been preparing to do this. I'm in love with one of these fans here who mentioned the pizza incident in Boston. If any of you don't know what that is, after this is done, watch that immediately tonight. That would be a fantastic cover of, do you know this incident?
I do.
The fan throwing the pizza. Oh, man.
We should do a whole fan series. It's like the pizza incident and the Steve Bartman stuff, all the Ooh. Morgana, the kissing bandit. There's so much in baseball. It's beyond the players of the game. There's so much material here. I can go for another 40 seasons and still have more to do.
Yes. Obviously, Cal and Griffey and Bell is an interesting one because he's sort of a villain. He could be in a cover. I remember watching a game with Albert Bell, by the way. I think bases were loaded. I don't remember, but he got hit and he refused to go to first and he wanted it to count as a ball. And the umpire started arguing. He's like, you have to go to first. And he refused. It was intense. Hats are available on popflypopshot.com.
And shirt.
How else do you envision your brand expanding beyond covers?
I think that remains to be seen. There are hats and shirts now there, by the way. And be adding more things, especially in between seasons, adding more things that aren't going to disappear in a week. It's funny. I feel like I've trained people to think, when is it going to leave? But hats are there, shirts are there. But adding more in the future. One day other sports, I think I will probably get to. I think that's the most logical kind of direction to go. I don't know when that's going to be, but at some point. And I want to do more than just comic book covers. There's more out there. Like you mentioned, the hats and the shirts, sure, but there's other ways that we enjoyed our childhood beyond just opening packs of baseball cards. And so what's really interesting to me is to go explore those things that make us feel 10 years old again and feel excited to hold in our hands. And so I don't have any specifics, but that's just what's on my mind is to what are those things that ignite that little 10-year-old self inside of us.
Well, I'm excited to see, along with everybody else, what comes out of your brain there. Someone's mentioning the Randy Johnson spring training game when a bird was exploded by his baseball.
Yes.
I love how you've shifted too, right? From doing players to you've done incidents along with stadiums. You've done entire teams like the Astros. Looking back on the past 2 seasons, what are a couple that stand out to you of works that you're especially fond of and proud of?
Sure. I think what's fun for me is that I get to take risks in this project. I don't feel like I have to do a bunch of heroes in a row or Hall of Famers or whatever. I get to explore all that baseball has to offer, and that's what's interesting to me. And so those risks that I got to take are the most interesting to me. The third issue in Lenny Dykstra. If you can go back and look at the Will Clark, the first one, look at the Hank Aaron. Lenny Dykstra, it leans really heavily comic book. It's patterned after a famous Hulk pose, and so that was at that time. I was only 3 in, but I was thinking, what are people going to think about this? This is really way more comic booky than just a classic hero pose. Kind of like you'd expect. Like Wade Boggs might expect. A picture of him batting with the saying Wade Boggs at the top. But that one for me was significant because it was a defining chance that I took that helped take more risks in the future. So looking back, I'm gonna pull up my stuff here off the top of my head, just looking Codebreaker, the Astros one. That was, I think, the first time there was a baseball comic with no baseball in it whatsoever. There was literally not even a baseball on there, not a player, not a name, no nothing. And so to call yourself a baseball artist and put that out for the week, that was a risk, and I didn't know how people would take to it. And so those are the ones that are interesting to me. Also, I've mentioned this before too, like Al Hrabowski, another one that is, Al Hrabowski is a kind of off the beaten path player that not everyone might be familiar with, but I found his story really fascinating, found him really fascinating. And then also it was another cover that had no baseball in it. He had a baseball in his hand. That was the one connection it had to baseball. But other than that, there was werewolves and zombies. A baseball cover with werewolves and zombies in it. That's the fact that I can do a project like that and take those kind of risks. That's what's really fun. Also the Big Red Machine as well. This big giant 1970s robot. That's a blast.
That's an interesting question. Thank you for that answer, by the way. Someone's noticing how the secondhand market has really exploded on these. And I was joking with Daniel, I bought a Amazing Spider-Man #1 a couple years ago, and it was a lot. It was, it was about $2,000, but that's also a comic from the 60s with Spider-Man, pretty iconic cultural icon. And you have some of your artwork that is a year old selling for about half of that price or more. And like to compare, that's insane to me. The question is, have you thought about your prices and how that would readjust? Is it right? Do you feel honored to see something you sell for $35 instantly go up on eBay for 4 times, 5 times as much? Do you take pride in that? Or are you like, hey, that's kind of my work. Maybe I need to adjust a little bit on my own? That's a great question, Jacob.
Yeah, for answering the last question first. I don't get bummed out about it at all. It's surprising. It's flattering. I haven't shipped out Kirby Puckett yet. Kirby Puckett's on eBay already. So whoever gets it will then sell it whenever they get it. Like it means a lot to me to have the work have that kind of value and collectability. It's also something I've thought about too. There's a line I have to walk, because right here in this room, I remember when I hadn't even released the Will Clark. I was talking to a buddy. I'm like, how much should I sell these for? $35? That sounds good. I had no idea what this cost to do this. I had no idea the operation. It was just like, sure, that sounds good. And there wasn't a ton of intention, because I didn't expect all of this. So certainly there is some like evaluation now a year into it. It's a big operation, and I need to figure out like, okay, what's the best way forward. But what's been consistently important to me is being able to make it affordable. I don't want to charge the prices that these get on eBay. That's not that I don't want to do that, because not everyone is collecting these because they want to sell it on eBay. They have a man cave that they want to put this in, or gift it to a friend. I wouldn't feel right about pricing those folks out of it. So trying to find that line. What does it actually cost to do this, and still make it affordable as I can for everybody? Because that's the goal for an artist. You want your work in people's homes. When you make it. You put it too cheap, it's not valuable. You put it too expensive, then you alienate, everybody. And so it's a tricky thing. I think about it a lot, and just want to find that right spot.
Yeah, well, we trust you with that, and I mean, I'm sure we all know if we just bought something for $35 and it's instantly worth $100, we're all aware of that, and so we know if it goes up, we're comfortable with that. I know Hall of Fame pullers. He has spoken about doing every team. Have you not done a Ranger yet? What was Nolan Ryan?
He was an Astro.
He was an Astro. Have you not done a Ranger?
Not done a Ranger, or an eraser. That's not a mandate of this project, but something I just want to do. I want everyone to find something that they enjoy in this project. So I've doubled up, sometimes tripled up on some teams. Other teams I haven't gotten to. That's my hope, is to get to at least one of every team that we have.
So there could be a Ranger in season 3. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that's my hope. Who should Hall of Fame pullers? Who should it be? Tell me. I'm
trying. Let's see. You got Palmeiro, Pudge Rodriguez would be fun.
Julio Franco's batting stance is what's really interesting to me, and also Ruben Sierra also is someone who's of my favorite era that I'm interested in.
Yeah, you could, Kenny Rogers. They've had some fun players.
Mm-hmm.
Can you actually show the Wade Boggs piece again? Because I want to make sure everyone does know. This will be retired on Sunday. This will close out season 2. The autographs are all gone. There were 200 of those, and they went really fast. These are available on popflypopshop.com. They are $35. Order one by Sunday. Do the plunge, because your wallet will take a break for a little bit of time. There will be an off season as Daniel recollects his creativity, refocuses some time on family and other things. And at some point, maybe June-ish, season 3 will start. But go ahead and grab this one to close out season 2. Do you have any kind of final words for us?
Thank you, Evan, for all of this. It's been just for everyone here that's watching. Evan and I were buddies when we were kids. We're buddies as an adults. So being able to talk to Wade Boggs with childhood, best buddy, it's wild. So thanks, Evan, for this. And never, the novelty of this never wears off, and I'm just very grateful for all the support that everyone being here and watching this stream after Wade Boggs is gone. They're still here talking and collecting week after week, and I'm just incredibly grateful. My family's incredibly grateful. We as we mail out our packages, we're just like, bon voyage, which with much love, like go to your homes and bring joy. So I'm just very grateful for everyone here that's shown the support over this last year.
We appreciate you, Daniel. Pandemic timing was perfect. You gave us a distraction, something to look forward to. And now you've taken it to the next level where we actually get to interact with some of these superheroes that you are articulating as the heroes that they are. Grab your Wade Boggs before Sunday. You will regret it if you don't. I apologize that I misremembered him as the Sideburns person. I can't believe I did that. But I am just a fan like everyone else here. So that keeps me humble. Thank you for everyone to carving out some time on your Friday today. We love seeing some of the behind the curtain stuff. Thank you, Daniel. And go to Pop Fly Pop Shot and then watch that pizza clip of Fenway. That is a good one to watch. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Evan.